It's about that time, isn't it? Hey, let's go. Uh-oh, something's wrong here. Can you guys actually hear me? Let's see here. Is that working? Can you? Oh, okay, that's better. I just got to turn this up a little bit. Hey, everybody, happy Monday. Excuse me. We're back from a nice weekend. Hanging out with Lady Boomer, and well, at least on Saturday. Then she wasn't feeling good on Sunday, so she kind of stayed up in the bedroom and recovered and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna turn that music off now because I just got it. Yeah, thanks, Johnny. So the border bill came out, and as expected, the posturing was happening a whole weekend, and I happened to watch an interview with Kirsten Sinema, who's one of the writers of the bill. And it dawned on me, I mean, I knew this already. I knew for a fact already that the purpose of this bill, as I said on Friday, was to make it look as though they were doing something, right? To make it look like they're doing something, because for 3 years they haven't done anything, and the Biden administration apparently, obviously, did everything they could to exacerbate the problem. And so now all of a sudden, Biden wants to have a bill that's a bipartisan bill. Oh, the magic word, bipartisan, a bipartisan bill. That's going to fix the problem because it gives Biden the tools that he needed that he didn't have before, and blah, 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 blah. And I call bullshit. And they're saying, oh my God, the Republicans in the House, they're just, these MAGA Republicans are going to block this bill, and they don't really want border security. They just want a political issue for the upcoming elections. And I'm thinking to myself, this is you guys who want a political issue. This is you guys who want to make it like you're finally doing something after 3 years of exacerbating the problem. And so the bill comes out, and I'm like, oh. And I look, it's almost 400 pages long. It's not a border security. It's a foreign aid bill, where they try to pretend like the things that they're doing in the border part of it is something that Biden couldn't do already. And it's pissing me off. And so today, again, third show in a row, it's going to be about the border shit. Now, I have other stuff open, and I might get to it, but I tell you, I got a lot of great articles open if you want to check them out afterwards. And I'll put them in the links like I do every day. I don't know if I'm going to get to any of them. Who knows? Who knows if I'm going to get to them today? I don't know till I say everything that you need to know. And so that is what we're doing today. I hope you can stand it. We'll do our best to get through it without me popping membranes in my head. Johnny, play the effing intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yep. That's me. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on the 5th of February, 2023. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. You know, we went, Lady Boomer and I took the grandbaby number one, who's just, she'll be two in about a month now. We took grandbaby number one to this balloon festival in Hudson, Wisconsin, the hot air balloon festival. And unfortunately, it was too windy to get the balloons off the ground. But we had a great day with our oldest granddaughter. And it's so weird to even say that. I'm like, am I old enough to have grandchildren? Well, I guess I know people have grandchildren when they were 40, but that's just unusual. But I guess I'm plenty old enough to have grandchildren. It's just weird to say that I have a grandchild. And so we took the grandchild. We went out for lunch. We drove to Hudson, which is about an hour from where my daughter lives, and went to and they didn't get to launch them, but they did have some blown up when we got there. So she's only she's just barely two, so she's not gonna remember. She doesn't remember seeing them and seeing these giant colorful balloons, and then they deflated them as soon as we got there. But still, it was cool. And then we just hung out, and then we took her home, and then yesterday Lady Boomer wasn't feeling well, so she kind of stayed in bed most of the day. But it was a good weekend. I hope you had a good weekend too. And then but then the border bill came out last night. It was what was it? It's around 5 something our time. I didn't see it until just before I went to bed, because Lady Boomer and I were we were streaming some show on TV, and so I really didn't get into it until this morning. But it's everything that I thought it was going to be. And the posturing, the political posturing is just insane. It just is. So we'll get into it after I say hello, like I do every day. So first to chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Also, good morning to Tired Alexander, the Gentleman Lich, and also Jimmy Das Hotep. And that's everybody over in Rumble so far. I mean, there's a few others. There's 11 watching on Rumble or have windows open on Rumble. If you're watching on Rumble, say hi. I'll say hi back to you. On YouTube, first in the chat is also Avocados Diablo. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Also, good morning, Kara Soldier, Zed the Snarky, Maddie's in the house. Also, Attack Alpaki, Trippy Liberty, my brother, welcome. Good morning, also Simon Wolfwood, Mike Savage, Blarg, and my favorite Canadian Jaeger Pony, Lord Stanhope. Did I already say Lord Stanhope? I probably did. Did I say it twice? Oh, no, I hadn't yet. I had not said Lord Stanhope yet. Good morning. Let's see, who else is in the chat? I'm scrolling. Gunfox61, the great administrator of our Discord server for the P-Dog Knight channel on Discord. That link pops up in the chat every once in a while. If you want to join, I put the new link. Thank you, Gunfox, for giving me the new link, by the way. Well, that's everyone who's chatting so far. I'm on live chat. Maybe just some of you aren't feeling too chatty today, but that's okay. You can listen. You can enjoy the show. No one told me who sang that song, I Am Sad. What song might that be? By the way, I'm not sure what that means. The weekend was terrible. It ended. Yes, yes, it is. Today is that long stretch of those 5 awful days until there's another weekend. So there you go. Good morning, Roasted Opinion. Nice to see you. Buenos dias, pero caballero. Wait, what? Cedar. Oh, I see. My friend the dog. You gotcha. Yes, that would be me. Okay, so. There's a couple things trending. James Colley, what's up? James Colley. Oh, why did I do the bell? I don't know. Anyway, because I don't see James Colley that often. By now, of course, the current laws, Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas have not held up their oaths of office, the exact definition of treason. Well, maybe. But the problem is it's not. And unfortunately, it is not the definition of treason. But it's almost, it's such a dereliction of their duty. It's embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for them to say it's not. But the executive branch, why is that? That's weird. The executive branch has leeway on how they're going to enforce things. It's like, I don't know. They pick and choose what they're going to enforce, and it's just crazy what they're doing. So we'll get to it. But I want to talk about what the little things that are happening that people are talking about besides the border, and then we'll get into the border. Today, by the way, it's one of those fantastic, days that that everyone should celebrate, and this one in particular. But I'm trying to let me find a good one here, because where is she? They don't have her on here anywhere. I thought for sure we would see a particular person on this as I scroll down before I put it on the screen. One thing about this day too, you're not going to see a whole lot of uncovered body parts, because most of these people, you don't want to see their uncovered body parts. Oh wait, what was I doing here? Did I forget I'm not done here. Hang on. By the way, before I do that, thank you, Somnambule Nation, Maddie, Jimmy Das Hotep, everyone reposting or posting the show on Twitter and wherever else you do your social media. Please share the stream. That would be great. Today is, though, it's a momentous day. It is National. I'm trying to do this with a straight face. It's National Weather Person's Day. Yes, it is National Weather Person's Day. Today is National Weather Person's Day. Cute. How nervous, Claudio. It's great to see the sun now. If you get the warmth, still 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I don't know what that means. Anyway, it is National Weather Person's Day, and I think you should celebrate by finding your favorite weather person. Now, I thought for sure that there's a couple of particular weather people in the country of Mexico that get a lot of attention on the internet, and neither of them are posted prominently here. But here it is. On this day, we salute our favorite weather person, Mr. Daniel Bonds. Happy National Weather Person's Day to a terrific meteorologist, an awesome friend of the Midlands. Now, I have no idea. When they, usually there's only really one state that refers to, at least that I can remember. There's like one state that refers to the western part of the Midwest as the Midlands, and it's usually in Omaha. And I'm just curious if this guy is in Omaha or in Nebraska. They refer to it as the Midlands, because I've never heard anyone from Kansas or Iowa or Oklahoma or whatever refer to themselves as the Midlands. Although the Midlands, Oklahoma kind of likes to call themselves the Southwest. But the Midlands is basically the western part of the Midwest, which is like Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota, maybe. Although South Dakota isn't even considered Midwest. Nebraska calls themselves the Midlands because I grew up in the middle of the country. Anyway, happy National Weather Person's Day. I know everyone is just so excited. I know you are so excited. There are more than a few weather girls I would like to see naked. Yeah, there's a few. Yes, yes, it's Al Roker Day, Tyre. Exactly. Now, there's, a couple of them, especially in the southern part of North America, as in Mexico. They have some fantastic weather people that just are so proficient at their job. But I didn't think to maybe have some special, a special tribute to them on this show. Anyway, also today, people are talking about the Grammys, but not that much. I thought for sure the Grammys from last night would be dominating the topics on X today. And they did, like, real early this morning, like 6 this morning, they still were. But after about 6:30, then everything changed to something else. And so that's okay, because I really don't give a crap about the Grammys. Although one of the biggest topics still trending is Album of the Year. And some people are upset I don't even know. I don't really need to put this on the screen. Well, I'm going to anyway. People are upset that some people, not a lot of people, some people were upset that Beyonce did not get album of the year, particularly her husband, because he got some kind of award and then went up on stage and kind of complained, hey, this person, I know a person's got the most Grammys, but they've never won album of the year because Taylor Swift won album of the year. And so Taylor Swift won album of the year. I don't know if it's a surprise. I mean, look, let's put it this way. And whether it's the greatest album or not, and usually the Grammys, it's usually some, it's not, the voters on it kind of pick their favorite, and Taylor just happens to be the perfect person from a political standpoint to pick. But the also the album of the year tends to, well, let's put it this way. Her album sold 1 million copies in one day. She had all top, there was a period of time this year where the top 10 Billboard chart songs were Taylor Swift. All 10 of them were Taylor Swift. 10 different songs. I mean, I don't know even know how significant that is. I think Michael Jackson had 5 at one time, maybe. The Beatles, 5 of the top 10 songs on the charts were Beatles songs. The Day I Was Born, in fact, Can't Buy Me Love was the number 1 song, and 4 other Beatles songs were in the top 10. It's almost unheard of, and Taylor Swift did it. So, and Avocados Diablo, I couldn't either. The only song I can remember Taylor Swift is "Shake It Off" because when my son was playing basketball, a lot of the music guy at the basketball games would play "Shake It Off" a lot. Oh wait, I was the music guy at the basketball games. Anyway, that was one of the songs they wanted me to use as one of the songs. Anyway, but other than that, I couldn't name another Taylor Swift song. So anyway, she won the album of the year, and if you can go look for what Jay-Z said, I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't really care. Also trending is Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas, the male human she, is trending, and Leah Thomas is is suing. Leah Thomas is suing. Apparently, there's a lawsuit against World Aquatics, and Thomas has not competed in. Apparently, they have a third category besides male and female, open or something like that. Thomas hasn't competed in this third category because they only want to compete if he, she, it, whatever can take titles. This is Riley Gaines and somebody on Fox News. Let's see what they're saying here.
Are there Olympics in your future?
It's been a goal of mine to swim at Olympic trials for a very long time, and
you're not allowed. Sorry.
Love to see that through.
One headline says, "Don't let Leah Thomas ruin the Olympics." A National Review column argues Thomas's case is absurd. The differences between males and females are obvious and demonstrable.
Oh no, that's transphobic. You can't say that.
As has been discussed many times,
Special
the case could be thrown out on common sense grounds alone, in quote. Riley Gaines, former NCAA swimmer and Outkick contributor. Well, you know this person and this case very well. Riley, welcome.
I do. Thank you for having me, Harris.
I thought this was...
The bottom line is this case, just as National Review said, there's no merit to this case. World Aquatics, FINA, which is the international governing body of swimming, they were really the first ones to prioritize fairness in sports. And they created this policy that said if you transition by the age of 12, after the age of 12, then you can't compete in the women's category. A very sensible approach. By no means do I think this policy is perfect.
Because you cannot reverse the advantages that you got from puberty. So anyway, hello, Grouchy Gamer. Nice to see you. I'm not going to play the rest of this. I don't care. The point is, Riley Gaines is suing World Aquatics. Apparently, sports governing bodies keep trying to have a female category without committing to the objective sex-based definition of female. Each successive attempt is to delineate this is in the Federalist, to delete a category without defining female athletes shows the way for activists and mediocre male athletes to self-identify their way into competing against females in nearly every sport and level, from collegiate swimming to adult recreational soccer, from high school volleyball to pro rugby, disc golf, and boxing. Now, further away from the public eye, women's sports face an existential crisis at the hands of a small network of people waging lawfare against biology and fairness on behalf of these activists and mediocre male athletes. American swimmer William Leah Thomas is one of the most well-known males in women's sports, having won an NCAA Division I Women's Championship in 2022. This young person, human being, whatever, now wants to compete in the USA Swimming Olympic trials in the female category. Thomas is taking the International Swimming Federation World Aquatics to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to overturn World Aquatics policy that bans any male who has experienced any part of male puberty from competing in the female category. He is represented by lawyers who are a part of a network with over a decade of experience litigating against the sex-based female category in sports. Leading his legal team is Canadian lawyer nothing against my Canadian friends in the chat. Against Canadian lawyer Carlos Sayao of the law firm Tyre LLP. Tyre, is that have anything to do with you? It's spelled the exact same way. Anyway, and another Tyre partner, Jim Bunting, representing Caster Semenya at the Court of Arbitration for Sports in 2018 and 2019. Now that's Semenya is the intersex person. They didn't figure out that Semenya was male until well into their track career, and so it has internal testes but not male genitalia, and so they made a rule, basically the Semenya rule, that came up with the idea of acceptable testosterone levels. But anyway, the bigger point of this is Leah Thomas is suing to be included in women's swimming. Now, this is funny. Well, funny-ish. This is 1990s comedy versus 2020's reality. There you go. Holy shit. So a trans swimmer sues to overturn strict new rules that prevent her from competing against biological female athletes at the Paris Olympics. So we'll watch what's going on with that and whatever. Moving on, also trending, Lisa Ann. Now, I had to, well, when I scrolled through this, I wasn't exactly sure who Lisa Ann was until I saw this trending, and it was trending pretty high today. Apparently, Lisa Ann is I don't know if she's a current or former porn star, but apparently she got arrested at what's the comedian's name? NYPD handcuffed and detained Lisa Ann because someone said she had a phone at the show. Here's her getting upset about this.
I did nothing wrong. I didn't touch my phone. I wanted to see Matt Rife.
Oh, Matt Rife, the comedian Matt Rife.
And I go to jail.
Well, I mean, apparently she's pretty popular because a lot of people are talking about it, and it's trending it was trending in the top 10 this morning. Lisa Ann, and so she was. Let's see, why does Lisa Ann have a British accent while getting arrested for allegedly trying to see her, quote, friend, unquote, comedian Matt Rife? And why would you get arrested for having a phone? I could see maybe them asking you to leave, but arrested? I mean, come on now. Come on. Here, you need one of these.
Come on, man.
Anyway, anything Ann equals porn star name, even if it's Edgar Ann. Yeah, it used to be like that with, back in the 80s. What was it? There was some, Lynn, anything with Lynn in it. Like there was I probably shouldn't, I should probably tell my knowledge of porn from the 80s, but me and my friends used to joke about, there was like Ginger Lynn and there was a bunch of Lynns. Let's put it that way. I can't remember them now because I don't really give a shit. All right, moving on. Next. Border bill is trending. Now, everything else that's trending today has to do with this border bill. So, for example, border bill is, what's this? Border bill is spending, dear Joker speaker, instead of wasting time trying to impeach Mayorkas, why don't you just pass the bill to secure our borders? Now, this is the kind of bullshit that I'm going to be reading from Democrats and leftists and, media, which is all very redundant. But hello, Damien Gershwin, by the way, and Cannibalistic Wizard. They're going to be blaming Republicans for the border issues. All the stuff in this border bill that they're proposing, every single lick of it, I probably shouldn't use the word lick, but anyway, every part of it is something that Joseph Rahim Biden already has the power to do without a new border bill or directive. Okay. The only thing it does differently is maybe it mandates it, but what it also does, it would force the next president of the United States, in theory, to abide by it. And that might be the bigger problem. So let me tell you the topics that are trending about this border bill. Border bill, obviously, is one of them, and people are posting different parts of it. Now, this is interesting. Now, people are saying any Republican who votes for this will betray the American people. Billions for humanitarian assistance, military support, research and development, and who knows what else for Ukraine. Excuse me. The bill reads like it was drafted in Kyiv. It's a massive issue that a border bill for America is more about funding the wars of foreign countries rather than our own interests and people. The so-called border security provisions codify amnesty and would force future presidents to allow illegals to cross our border. Any Republican who votes for this bill will betray the American people. That's Paulina Luna. She's a congressperson from Florida. By the way, reparations in the Starry Night Cup today. Also trending because of the border bill, Ukraine and Israel, because really, it's funny because they're trying to sell this as a national security bill, right? So our national security bill is funding Ukraine the most by almost half of this bill, $118 billion with a B dollars. Half of it's going to Ukraine. Half of it is going to Ukraine. Half of it is going to Ukraine. They're calling a national security bill, an emergency, not just a national security bill. They're calling it an emergency national security bill. Brilliant. That is because that makes you go, oh, people who are not paying attention to anything that's going on, all they hear is, this is an emerging national security bill. How can Republicans be against that? Because the bill's bullshit. Bullshit. Also trending because of this, though, are, although this is, I had to get to Kirsten Sinema. Kirsten Sinema is trending. What the hell is here? That should have been, what happened to, where is it? Where did it happen to Sinema? Well, I'll be damned. Well, we're gonna let me fix this real quick because I'm gonna open the tab that has she was trending today too. Her and Langford, the Republican person negotiating this bill. He's from Oklahoma, and people are calling him a traitor. Sinema, S-I-N-E-M-A. Sinema. There we go. So anyway, but Kirsten Sinema's trending because of this. Senator Langford from Oklahoma is trending in this. Let's see, who else? What else? Vote No is trending because of this. And any Republican, and a lot of people saying any Republican who votes for this is out of their fucking mind. So anyway, let's go down the line though. Let's start with Sinema because it was interesting. She was on Face the Nation yesterday. I watched it. I haven't watched Sunday morning like talk news, whatever shows in ages, but I just happened to me. I was cleaning. I saw Face the Nation come out and it was Kirsten Sinema. I knew she was one of the sponsors of the bill, so I watched it and I'm like, why is she trying so hard on this? Because she is a senator from Arizona. And for 3 years, our senator from Arizona hadn't proposed shit on this. And all of a sudden, oh my gosh, she's one of the sponsors of this border security bill, border deal. Now, imagine, it was like, how can you say that you're, well, why would you do this now? Oh, because you're up for re-election and you got to be able to say that you did something about a crisis that, that the people of Arizona are not happy with you about. So, oh my gosh, now she could say, oh my gosh, well, see, I was part of this bipartisan effort to have a border drill that would make things tougher for less than this and that and make the president do this and that. And oh my gosh, those mean and ass Republicans over in the House just wouldn't do anything. I need more support. And so she's out here saying, well, there's a lot of misinformation. This is her tweet here. There's a lot of misinformation out there about our border deal. Here, let me stop this for a second. About our border deal from partisans. See, she's bipartisan. In fact, she's an independent. She's independent. She is just pure and clean and just, she probably, well, I was going to say something really rude. I'm not going to say it. Anyway, but she, and she's doing the right thing for Arizonans, right? A lot of misinformation from partisans who want it to fail because they benefit politically from our broken system. Oh, no. You are trying to benefit from a system that no one's trying to enforce. It's not that the system's broken. It's the assholes who are not enforcing it. That's the broken part. That would be Joseph Rahim Biden. Okay? Because everything you're proposing in this bill could be done by the president without any new laws. We'll get into it. So she says, here's the things that she says are a myth, and then I'm going to show you that this is nothing about for her. This border security shit is bullshit, and this is just an election issue for her that she can now say, oh, well, I proposed a bipartisan border patrol bill. That's part of it. It's really a foreign aid package. It's just an add-on to a foreign aid package instead of an actual standalone bill about the border where they really accomplish something. But anyway, so she's claiming here, let's see what she claims here. She claims that it is a myth that this package would let 5,000 migrants into the country per day. We'll get to it. And she says, but she says that's false because the fact is the bill ends the catch and release. The new border emergency authority closes the border to prevent the system from being overwhelmed. At what number? At what number, Kirsten? 5,000 per day. It's like, it's not even, it's just a lie. Hello, Slim Tito and Simon Wolfwood, and I said Damon Gershwood, and GDSOB. Okay, and then, oh, that's the only fact that she's putting on here? Are you serious? So she says, okay, get the facts at cinema.senate.gov border deal. Okay, let's go to cinema.senate.gov border deal. Right here. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. She is so organized and so perfectly ready and stable and perfect timing that she has a cinema U.S. Senator for Arizona bipartisan border security package with her picture all over it. Oh my gosh. Could you see how much work she's doing there? She's a picture of her at the border talking to border agents, and she was on Face the Nation doing this, and she has the bipartisan plan to solve the border. Oh my gosh, she's doing her job so well for Arizonans. It's amazing. And it has the full text of the bill and a package summary and section by section, myth versus facts. Wow, they just released this last night. I guess they were waiting to make sure her website was finished before they released it. Oh my God, it's so utterly transparent that this is some electioneering bullshit from her, because she knows she's vulnerable in Arizona, a state where people do not like what's happening at the border. So here it is. She says there is a crisis at our border. Yeah, when did the crisis start? The moment Joe Biden got into office. And our bipartisan border security package fixes it. No, it doesn't. You lie. It could have been fixed without her. Yeah, is that the did she hire AOC's film crew too? I don't know. Hello, Jen T and Aaron Meredith, by the way, and text 007. Now senators might make a decision to pass our package and solve the crisis. It won't solve a damn thing. All it does is tie the next president's hands of doing their own thing. Technically, I suppose you could say the bill might be unconstitutional if you're the next president, because it's not the purview of the Senate. But anyway, we'll see. Our package, the Senate to pass our package and solve the crisis, or accept the status quo, do nothing, and keep playing politics while our system breaks and our communities continue to suffer. False. Again, everything in this bill, the president already has the power to do. And but what it does, it forces this president to do it because he refuses. But it would also tie up the next president from doing more like this president should be doing. Again, and this bipartisan, it has her name up here. So we know that this is some election website bullshit, right? And they have, so anyway, Arizona Senator Chris Sinema, joined by Republican Senator James Langford and Democrat Senator Chris Murphy. Oh, did she initiate this? Is that what she's saying? Released the text of their bipartisan border security package, the strongest border security legislation in decades that reasserts control of the border, ends catch and release, enhances security, fixes the asylum system, and supports border communities. It does none of that. I'm sorry. Well, in theory it does. In theory it does. But it's certainly not, the new law is not necessary for Biden to already implement everything in here. Senator Langford and Murphy's bipartisan package reasserts control of the border, protects border communities, disrupts the flow of fentanyl into our country, and solves the border crisis by ending catch and release. I already said that, didn't I? No, she has the same damn sentence twice. That's why. So anyway, let's see. Let's hear. No, I don't want to hear. I want to show you the Face the Nation. Let's do this, because this is where.
Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. We've got a lot to get to with the escalating tensions in the Mideast, but we begin with another challenge facing this country.
Was this a 13-minute segment? I don't even want to. I just want to wait till they get to her. I don't want to do the fluff part. Here we go. So here she is. We'll watch part of this because I want to point out something too. Listen to how she talks, okay? And tell me if this sounds like something that's coming off the top of her head or something else. Listen to this interview.
Joining us now from Scottsdale is one of the chief negotiators of that deal, Arizona Independent.
I wonder if she said, please call me one of the chief negotiators of this deal. Because again, she's from Arizona. She's up for re-election. She's got Carrie Lake and some other Democrat nipping at her heels.
Senator Kyrsten Sinema. And Senator, we want to note this is your first official appearance on a Sunday show, and we thank you for being with us today.
Listen to how she talks now.
Well, good morning, Margaret. It's great to be with you.
Not that part.
So you are one of the very few people who know the intricate details of this deal, since the text is still not public.
Now, she's going to make this claim about 5,000 again.
Are you going to need more than the $14 billion that President Biden has asked Congress for?
Well, you know, that's really a question for the heads of our Appropriations Committee, who are in the final.
Wait, what? Wait, what? That's for the Appropriations Committee to determine if you need more than 14 whatever billion that you're asking for? What? Then why are you writing 14 billion? If you don't know the answer, if it's for that, it's for somebody else to answer. Shouldn't your bill answer that question? Huh. Interesting.
Final stages of putting this bill together this afternoon. My job was to lead the negotiations for the border policy changes that we so desperately need. And that's why I've worked with Senator Langford and Senator Murphy over the last 4 months.
Listen to how she talks.
To create workable policy that makes dramatic but needed changes to both our asylum system and border policy.
Do you hear what I'm hearing? Not just not what she's saying, but also how she's saying it. Have you noticed? See if you notice what if maybe you'll see it the same way or not.
You will need likely more personnel or funding to execute this, but in going to the specifics, you have said publicly you are ending catch and release. That's that practice of detaining migrants and then releasing them with the promise of a future court date. How?
Kind of. This is something they could be doing right now without a deal. Listen what she says here.
How will your plan work?
Well, I'm so glad you've asked that question because, look, we've all seen the images on television of what...
I'm so glad you asked that question. I think you told her what questions you wanted to answer. Listen to how she answers. Hi, Scrappy. Scrappy, what's up? It's been a while. How you doing? Nice to see you.
It's happening in Lukeville, Arizona, and in southern Texas, where large numbers of migrants are approaching the border and being processed and kind of released into the country, sometimes with a piece of paper called a notice to appear, where they may see a judge in 5, 7, 10 years. No one knows. Our law changes that and ends the practice of catch and release. So when people approach the border and say they want to enter our country to seek asylum, they will go into one of two situations. First, short-term detention, which means we take them into custody and we actually do an interview right then and there to determine if they meet the standard for asylum.
Now, this is interesting. And by the way, I just wonder if she's always talking like this and she has her little vocal fry and this and that and that. And it sounds like she's reading a teleprompter to me. It just does. Now, here's the thing. They could have been doing this all along. By the way, that you can determine right away if the Chinese nationals and the Syrians and the Senegalese and the Indian, the Pakistani, and all these countries that someone had to fly here to get here or take a really big boat, all of those people could have been turned away immediately. But there's a problem because, well, you'll hear it when she says what they're going to do.
For individuals who do not meet that standard, which, by the way, Margaret, is most of the migrants who are coming to our country right now, they'll be...
Interesting. She admits that most of the migrants coming to the country do not qualify for the asylum claim that they're making. And she's going to say this.
By the way, Margaret, is most of the migrants who are coming to our country right now, they'll be swiftly returned to their home country.
Really? Really? Now, this is interesting because if you talk to anyone who knows about what's going on down there, most of these people aren't coming here with any sort of ID that tells exactly where they're from. They're not carrying passports. They're leaving their IDs on the other side of the border so no one can determine who they are, where they're actually from. How are you going to return them to their home countries? Are you going to fly them all home? Huh? How are you going to do that? And also, have you negotiated with Mexico about sending them just right back to where they came through the border? Mexico doesn't want them. So how are you going to do that? Now, they certainly have the power to do this already. And if they say they're from, somewhere in, if they say they're from Lithuania, fine, fly their asses with Lithuania. But how are you going to get them on an airplane? And how are you going to, once they get to the country with no passports, no ID, once you send them back to that country, how are they going to get into that country? How are they going to get in through customs of the country that they're being returned to? Have they thought of that? Maybe it's in the plan, but I'm guessing, yeah, they're just making it sound like they're doing something.
And for folks that we can't detain, like families, for instance.
Whoa, what? Why? Why can't you detain families? Why? What is stopping you from detaining families if they're not asylum? If they're not eligible for asylum, why can't you detain them? Is there no way to do that?
And for folks that we can't detain, like families, for instance, we'll ensure that we're supervising them over the course of just 3 months.
Supervising
and conduct that interview with that new higher standard, requiring them to show more proof early on about whether or not they qualify for asylum, and then return them to their country if they do not have the evidence or the proof that they qualify for asylum. So we'll no longer have people just entering the country and maybe going to court in the next 7 or 10 years.
Now, ideally, look, again, this sounds great. I want someone who has something to do with this bill, or someone from the Biden administration, to explain to the American people what's stopping you from doing any of this before. What is stopping you? What has stopped you from doing any of this before? This could have been done before. You could have done this from go, but you chose not to. You chose to just do the catch and release thing. And it's nice to see her admitting the catch and release thing. I wonder if Senator Chris Murphy will admit in his interviews that there's been a catch and release program basically since Joe Biden came into office. I'm just curious. Anyway, good morning, Amazing Disgrace. How you doing?
Instead, we'll make swift justice.
We will.
Folks who do qualify for asylum will be on a rapid path, 6 months or less.
Rapid path to what?
To start a new life in America. And those who do not qualify.
A rapid path to citizenship. Well, how are they going to? So here's the thing now, Kirsten. Now that we know that you say that, okay, well, if they're not, not eligible for asylum, well, how are all these people with no IDs? How are you going to ID them to see if they are eligible for asylum? And again, basically, you just told everybody all they got to know is need to know the word asylum. It's very interesting.
To be returned to their home countries.
So for those who are impoverished, for example, and say they're just coming to America to have a better life, they're in search of the American dream, they won't qualify, right? They will be turned away?
That's right, Margaret. Right now, individuals...
This sounds like it literally sounds like she prepared for a debate, and she has she's written out her canned answers and rehearsed them. This is probably why she hasn't done that many interviews, because she takes a lot of time to prepare for these interviews.
Can dream. They won't qualify, right? They will be turned away?
That's right, Margaret. Right now, individuals who want to come to America just to get a better life or to seek the American dream, to find work, those are what we call economic migrants. They are not.
Oh my God! Thank you, Kamala.
Whenever they would like. And
she's talking like a fourth grade history teacher. There's these type of people, and they are called economic migrants.
Our new law will ensure that they can't get into the country, that they won't get that notice to appear. They will not be allowed in through the border ports.
What do you mean? Oh,
ports of entry.
Won't be allowed through the ports of entry. Well, how many of them are coming through the ports of entry? You're allowing for 1,400 to come through the ports of entry, 3,600 to come just, wherever they show up. So now are they going to be maybe they'll just go back to not seeking out the border agents then, because right now they seek out the border agents because they know all they have to do is seek out a border agent and say asylum, no speaking of English, asylum, and they get processed and catch and release. So yeah, this is great that they're talking about this now after 3 years of this, but this could have been done by the Biden administration without a bill. Again, there's nothing they're proposing that the Biden administration couldn't have done from day one. The only thing that this border bill should be is if you're going to hire 1,300 or 1,600, whatever number it is, more Border Patrol agents, the reason you have them is to kick more people out, to stop more people from coming over, more people from staying, to detain more people that are not eligible for asylum, and finding a way to send their asses back home. But that's not why Biden wants more agents. He just wants to process more people. But anyway.
Ports of entry, like we see down in Lukeville, they will be turned away and sent back to their home country.
Will they? But how? How do you send them back to their home countries if you turn them away at the border? If, let's say, a Chinese national, not eligible for entries, already on U.S. soil, and you say, okay, sorry, you're not eligible. We're going to send you back to your home country. You're going to turn them away. Turn them away how? You can't send them back into Mexico. because that's not their home country. So you got to bring them in and you got to fly them to China, right? Is that it? I hope that's in the budget. Because there's been 7 million since Biden came into office? I think 4 million encounters, 7 million estimated, probably more like 10 million.
Because they currently are exploiting the asylum system.
Yes, we know that. And that's true. And that's because the Biden administration is allowing them to exploit the asylum system. Again, it's like my graphic on the, I put it on the thumbnail. All they got to know is, the only word they need to know right now is asylum. And so, yes, they're exploiting the only reason they're exploiting the asylum system is because they're being allowed to. You know damn well, if they're from India, they're not eligible for asylum here. You know damn well, if they're from China, they're not allowed. If they're from anywhere where they had to take a plane to get to Mexico, they're not eligible for asylum.
We're ending that system. We're ending that loophole and ensuring that they cannot enter.
There shouldn't be that loophole. That's what we're saying. It's a loophole that's been granted by the Biden administration, and everybody knows it. Thank you, Damian Gershwin. How you doing? And thank you for sponsoring the show. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. By the way, if you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live. It's also linked in the chat somewhere in there. In fact, let me pin that link. There you go. Drop a deuce or more into the tip jar. Damian Gershwin says, Hola, P-Dog, and chat. Question. Can anyone tell me exactly how a border crossing alleged asylum seeker proves they are eligible for asylum? I honestly don't understand how any of their stories could ever possibly be verified, even if they are legitimate. Well, that is a good question. And technically, the only ones that might even be eligible for asylum was if they were in dire straits in the country of Mexico. Because right now, even if you came from Ecuador, the first place you would have to apply for asylum, according to international law, would be whatever the first country north, or I don't know my order of these South America or Central American countries. But supposedly you're supposed to apply for asylum in the first country you step foot in that would give you that application. So unfortunately, we're not getting a ton of people crossing the border from Mexico anymore, at least Mexicans. The Mexicans aren't the ones crossing the border anymore. They're from everywhere else in the world. And I don't know why any Mexicans would be claiming asylum unless they lived in northeast Mexico where all the drug cartels are controlling that part of the country and they're escaping, whatever oppression from there. But I don't even think they could do that. Go to Mexico City then, or go somewhere else. But, that would be the only ones that actually would be able to seek asylum unless we have certain countries designated in the world where we do allow people to come here as far as kind of a refugee situation. But this is not even refugees. These are not refugees. So anyway, Slim Tina Cinema won't win the re-election, and she knows it. She shot herself in the foot when she turned on Democrats and went independent. Cartel Katie Hobbs won't do anything with the border. No. You're absolutely right there too. All right. Wow. How did they get so far down here? Anyway, we don't need to watch anymore. This is basically, she might have said something else. I'm trying to remember what else she said that I wanted to talk about.
Through that manner.
Well, there is some concern about from Democrats that those individuals turned away would then in turn be exploited if they're pushed back into Mexico. And
now, this question that Margaret Brennan's asking, wait a minute, if they're turned away and pushed back into Mexico, well, first of all, I don't think Mexico allowed. They haven't even, this hasn't been ironed out with Mexico yet either. But think of this. These are not Mexicans, for the most part, crossing our border. They're from everywhere else in the Southern Hemisphere and the rest of the world. So why would they send them back to Mexico? That's not their home country. But Margaret's talking about Mexico.
Somehow mistreated. How are you?
And if they're somehow mistreated, well, how do you think they got here? Probably mistreated to get here, too.
Going to alleviate democratic concerns?
How are we going to alleviate Democrat concerns? You mean the Democrats who've allowed them to be exploited and come here already? The Democrats who are bitching about their own sanctuary cities being full? I don't know.
About that.
Well, that's an important question, Margaret. The reality is that for the last several years, cartels have used this loophole to exploit the system, telling folks from Latin and South America and really all over the world that they can come
glad she's acknowledging all over the world.
to America, claim asylum.
No. You can come to Mexico. Again, Mexico has become America's welcome, Matt. And you can come to Mexico, and then you can cross the border into America. Let's not forget that part.
Asylum, and then gain access to the country. We are going to end that process by ending catch and release and requiring folks who do come to claim asylum to actually have their asylum claims determined quickly and fairly. And that will provide a disincentive.
Quickly and fairly. That sounds so lovely. And the Republicans are against this. They're monsters.
Individuals to come to this country, really sacrificing so much in their lives.
And you're going to send them back after all that sacrifice, you dirty people. You're so cruel and just awful.
Path that no longer can be exploited. So we believe that by quickly implementing this system, individuals who
you must pass it fast because we don't want you to think about it too much.
For
I'm translating for her now.
Reasons will learn very quickly that this is not a path to enter our country and will not take the sometimes dangerous or treacherous trek to our border.
So you have said...
It's funny how during the Trump administration, they stopped doing it. They and granted, there was the 1 year, the third year of Trump, there was like 800,000, but the other years were all around 400,000, right? And now that's per year. Now we're at 3 million per year versus 400,000. Average, I think the average over the Trump administration was just under 500,000 a year, or maybe six, whatever. And it was about that during the Obama administration, a little bit higher, and then a little bit higher during the Bush administration. But it had been going down, and it even went down harder for Trump. And then the year of COVID, it was only 405,000 because once they implemented the stay in Mexico policy. Again, this is estimates, and these are, granted, these are encounters, so we don't know how many escape, but you can figure, the numbers. Part of the reason the numbers are so high too now is because they literally seek out border agents to be counted how many you're coming through. So we're getting the only thing good about what's going on right now is we're getting a better idea of how many are actually coming through because they seek out border agents because they all learned the word asylum first.
Previously, that the Biden administration does bear some responsibility for this crisis, and they should be held accountable for not implementing existing laws.
Yeah, these are some of the existing laws. These are things he didn't need a law for.
What actions are you asking the president to take independent of Congress? And if, as you say, wasn't implementing existing law, what would be different with your new version of the law?
Well, Margaret, our law actually requires the administration to implement these tools.
Why do they even have to be required to implement them? That's the rub. This law would require them to do something that they should already fucking be doing. I just swore, excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry about that. So anyway, I can't listen to her anymore. Let's move on because I've belabored the point. Anyway, but this is funny because I pulled this up next. The 2024 Senate elections are coming fast, or they're fast approaching, and these seats are up for re-election. Oh, well, let's see. Let's see who's up for re-election this year. Top of the list, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema. Sinema, once a Democrat, is known for her eccentric fashion choices and her centrist views, which have regularly held up Democratic policy. Whoa. This is the useless today. Notice how they, which have regularly held up Democratic policy agenda. Oh my God. Oh no. Sinema, who left the Democratic Party in December 2022, citing concerns over rigid partisanship, will be challenged by the left by current Representative Ruben Gallego. Now, that's interesting. Apparently she won't be challenged from the right in Arizona. I guarantee you that in Arizona, this will be a hot issue, and Ruben Gallego will not be any better than Kyrsten Sinema on this. But yeah, so now I wonder if Oklahoma, let's see if, and guess what? Chris Murphy, he's the co-sponsor on this bill in Connecticut, and he has to look like he's doing something too because it's an election year. Let's see if Oklahoma's Langford is on this list. MLMNO. PMO, come on, Oklahoma, where the wind goes sailing down the trail. Nope. Langford is not up for re-election. And you know what? That's probably a good thing too, because he can get away with being one of the co-sponsors on this bill without it biting him in the ass immediately. He can probably go a couple years before he's up for re-election again and doesn't have to worry about it. So it's two basically Democrats up for re-election versus Langford, who's not a Republican, who's not up for re-election. So it doesn't matter if he's on the bill right now, and hopefully people will have short memories. So that's hilarious. All right. Good morning. Now what, my friend Wu from high school? How you doing? All right. Let's see. Other things trending, though. Langford's trending. Don't care. Vote no is trending because a lot of people are saying, fuck no. And right here, no. They will hopefully vote no because basically codifies illegal immigration and sends more money to foreign countries, including Gaza, than our own border. It's a bad law. Not everything is about Trump. Mark Levin, $118 billion for bipartisan spending bill. This is how these damn fools in the Senate blow up the budget, debt, and spending. No wonder they waited until now to release yet another monstrosity. Okay, so anyway, and also any Republican, and as Matt Gaetz starts this, the Senate amnesty bill literally would force President Trump to let in illegals well into his term. Any Republican who votes for this is no better than a Democrat. Now, interesting, Mike Lee, this feels like an elaborate practical joke, but it's not funny, not one bit. I can't not understand how any Republican would think this was a good idea or anything other than an unmitigated disaster. We need new leadership. The border never closes is a good summary of this bill, of Joe Biden's policy. I can't understand why Chris Murphy supports it. I can't imagine why any Republican supports this atrocious proposal. So a lot of people saying vote no. So if you want to actually look at the entire bill, here's the useless, or no, this is AOL. Whose article do they have up here? It looks like ABC News's article. No, this is Reuters. Senate unveils $118 billion with a B dollar bill on border security, aid for Ukraine and Israel. Now that's interesting how they put border security first in this one, because it starts out as this is an aid package for Ukraine, and they just throw in Israel and the border and a couple other things to that. But more than half of the money in this bill goes to Ukraine. U.S. Senate on Sunday unveiled a $118 billion border security bill. And again, this is how Reuters puts it. This is not the primary part of this bill, is not the border security bill. This is hilarious. That would also provide aid to Ukraine and Israel, but it promptly slammed into promptly slammed into opposition from the House of Representatives. Good. I urge Congress to come together and swiftly pass this bipartisan agreement. Oh my gosh, you had one Republican senator that's supporting it. Well, I know Mitt Romney and probably Lindsey Graham and anyone else who's a lot. Look, all the Ukraine hogs are for this bill because it's about Ukraine for them. Okay, the people who are interested in funding Israel are for it because it's funding Israel for them. But the border part is the part that sucks. And these, they should all be separate. They should be 3 separate things. Or maybe 2 separate. You can do the foreign aid part in one bill and the border part, and they're not related. But you know how they're selling it? This is a emergency national security bill. Brilliant. I urge Congress to come together to pass this bipartisan agreement, Joe Biden said, also praising the migration measures in the bill, which took months to negotiate. Yeah, because you're not doing your freaking job, Joe. Sorry, Joe. However, House Representative Speaker Mike Johnson declared it dead on arrival if it reaches the chamber. So, those nasty Republicans are blocking Congress on our bipartisan bill, those MAGA Republicans. Anyway, I'm not going any farther. AP has an article, and again, you got to read the headlines, or at least how they frame it. Again, AOL, $18 billion bill on border security. Well, wait a minute. If 65 billion of it, or whatever, 60, 70 billion of it is going to Ukraine, how is that a bill on border security when only about a quarter of it is for our own country? Or less than a quarter of it. 14 billion of 118 billion. That doesn't add up as a border security bill. That adds up as a foreign aid bill. But it's emergency. It's an emergency. What do they call it? Emergency it's national security bill. That's how they're selling it. Holy shit. Here's how the AP, that was Reuters, here's AP. Senators on Sunday released a highly anticipated $118 billion package. Oh, this one says that pairs border enforcement policy with wartime aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies. Why? Why is this a separate bill? Oh, because it's an emergency national security bill. But it quickly ran into a wall of opposition from the top House Republicans. Oh, they kind of use the same language in Reuters and AP. The proposal could be the best chance for President Joe Biden to resupply Ukraine with wartime aid. Oh, at least they're telling the truth that it's mostly about wartime aid. 60 billion of it goes to Ukraine. Huh. I thought it was a border security bill. It's Reuters. Let's see. Here's Fox News. Senate releases long-awaited border. Now let's see if they have a different slant on this. We'll see. We'll see if they have a different take. Probably not, though, because this is, Fox suddenly has a love affair with all the bipartisan Republicans. Senate releases long-awaited border legislation. Again, they're calling it border legislation. And major asylum changes. The text of the much-anticipated border bill cracks down on parole and asylum. Did they even mention Ukraine here? Senate negotiators on Sunday released the text of a much anticipated border deal that lawmakers have been hashing out in the White House with the White House officials since December. Oh, all the way since December? Wow, the border's been a problem since the first 3 months in office with Joe Biden, hasn't it? You went all the way back to December to hammer this out. Wow, congratulations. Talks have been ongoing for months as bipartisan groups of lawmakers, Senator James Lankford, Kristen Sinema, Chris Murphy, had tried to strike a deal with the White House officials to fix the crisis at the southern border. The deal would be included in a supplemental spending bill that includes billions in foreign assistance to Ukraine and Israel. Oh, just a matter of fact, the vast majority of the money in this bill goes to Ukraine, Israel, and other countries. The agreement holds potential to allocate $60 billion to Ukraine, $14 billion to Israel, yet its passage through the House appears doubtful. House Republicans have deemed the new bill a non-starter unless it incorporates essential components from H.R. 2, the House GOP border bill, with Senate Democrats dismissing H.R. 2. Tensions persist. Now, interesting. So H.R. 2 means the second bill in the House? It's this year, though. Anyway, Meanwhile, Johnson vowed to put $17.6 billion in emergency funding on the House floor next week to give Israel assistance. In the Biden administration's original supplemental request, officials sought over $100 billion in funding, including $14 billion for the border, but Republicans demanded limits on migrant releases into the interior, including the use of parole, and negotiators have been attempting to find a compromise. So, again, the things that the Biden administration should have been doing already, that they are demanding. Now, they're put it in this bill, kind of. Although I'm pretty sure that the idea that you could have 5,000 a day is might just be a thorn in the side of some of the people looking at this going, 5,000 a day? How about 0 a day? How about 0 illegal crossings a day? How about 0 fake asylum attempts a day? I'm sure you could send back half. Let's put it this way. If they're not speaking fluent Spanish, you at least know, at very least, no, they're not from this hemisphere. Spanish, Portuguese, English. That's about it. But it would have to be, what's your native language? What? Your native language is Chinese? Get on this plane right here. But not a helicopter. Don't say that. That's nasty. But yeah, here it is. Oh my God. Here's what Johnson said. Johnson from the House. While the Senate appears poised to finally release their supplemental package after months of behind closed doors negotiations, their leadership is aware that by failing to include the House in their negotiations, they have limited the ability for swift consideration of any legislation. Sonny's proposed legislation will total just over $118 billion, with 50,000 new visas. Now, are those visas for people who actually are eligible for asylum or what? The border proposal, which took months to negotiate, is aimed at gaining control of an asylum system that has been overwhelmed by historic numbers of migrants coming to the border. And just saying the word asylum, the bill proposes to overhaul the system with tougher and quicker enforcement measures, which, they're putting them in there. But again, requiring that you take in an average of 5,000 a day. Anyway, Breitbart has the actual bill in one of these. Here's how Breitbart says it. Senate releases establishment migration bill. The Senate released its long-awaited border bill. Again, they keep calling it a border bill. It's if only 15% of the bill, the money spent in the bill, and 15% of the bill has anything to do with the border, and the rest of the $118 billion is going somewhere else, this is not a border bill. It's just not. I'm sorry. Stop calling it a fucking border bill. If it's not, now granted, I'm sure there's more language dedicated to the border than to, the foreign aid part of it. It's a foreign aid bill where they just threw in some border shit to make some senators be able to go home and say, I did something. The ones up for re-election, I'm saying. And again, here's the name of the bill. Listen to the name of the bill. The Emergency National Security Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2024. The Emergency National Security Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2024. You know how they love to name the bills. Look, and so now anyone who opposes this, and I've already seen the Krasensteins do this all morning. You're against the border. You're against actual reform of the border. You're against fixing the border. You just want a talking point that you can use in elections, and you're against national security if you vote against this bill. What if it's a shitty bill, Ed? Hello, Evan S. Hello, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. The bill is being marketed as a national security bill as it seeks to overcome opposition by Republican legislators whose whose election depends on the enthusiastic turnout of ordinary populists who are worried about migration's lawlessness, pocketbook damage, crime, and overcrowding and chaotic diversity. Wow, that's quite a sentence by Breitbart there. However, Democrats are touting the bill as a fix for President Biden's terrible poll numbers in the 2024 election. That's also kind of an editorial comment, but it's true. The establishment authors of the bill have largely hidden its contents along with many possible loopholes, exceptions, modifications, and caveats that can turn apparent restrictions into government-funded welcomes. The bill was assembled behind closed doors by a tight circle of establishment advocates and their business donors. Wow! Wow! Is this an editorial or is this a news story? It sounds like an editorial. They include Chuck the smarmy prick from New York Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch the Turtle McConnell, who appointed 3 senators to negotiate a plan with the House. So McConnell wants to look like he's doing something too, as does Chucky boy, because Chucky's not very popular in in New York right now. If he's running on this, he's probably screwed. In fact, is Chuck Schumer up? Let's check New York. Let's see. LMN, Nebraska, Nevada. Nope, he's not. Oh wait, New Mexico, New York. Nope, Kirsten Gillibrand is up for re-election. So anyway, so the White House side was advised by Biden's pro-migration border chief Alejandro Mayorkas, who's they're debating if they're going to impeach his sorry ass. So anyway, let's see. The bill is being marketed as a way to curb border chaos and as a national security push because advocates need to provide cover for pro-establishment Republican senators who want to support the bill despite public opposition. For 5 months, my Republican colleagues have demanded, and I think rightfully so, that we address the border crisis as part of a national security package, Sinema told CBS on Sunday. I agree, the crisis at our border is a national security threat. Oh, now you speak up. Yes, we saw that. So they have a little question and answer here. I wish I had more time to go through it, but I don't. So anyway, if you want to see let's see. And in fact, this Senate bill gives Ukraine 75 times as much funding as the U.S. border wall. Well, that's a dirty way to put it because, again, whether or not it goes to the border wall, it doesn't give 70 times as much funding to Ukraine as the border, but to the border wall. See what they did there? Now that's a little bit dirty. The Senate bill would provide a measly $650 million to continue building a border wall at the United States-Mexico border, while Ukraine would be sent $48 billion in American taxpayer money. The bill negotiate. Okay, whatever. So, let's see. What do I have open here? Oh, now a few people commenting. Here is Joseph Rahim Biden. We've reached an agreement on the bipartisan bill that includes the toughest and fairest set of border reforms in decades. It includes support for Ukraine and Israel and provides humanitarian assistance for the Palestinian people. But mostly the latter part of that. And he has a little thing here. Cool. How about, I don't know, Americans? That's the quartering, Jeremy. Mays, let me guess. You need a second term to start enforcing it. Oh, that's the other part too. So they're finally bringing this up. See, when's he going to start enforcing it? Well, they'll have to run on a second term to enforce it because the guy with the funny hair won't enforce this, right? The guy with the funny hair will probably do his own thing, right? And probably be tougher than this bullshit. So anyway, Simon Ateba, he's the African correspondent that sits in the press. Well, he used to sit in the White House press corps. Do you support this just unveiled Senate bill with billions of dollars of Ukraine and Israel and Gaza? $60.06 billion to support Ukraine as it fights back against Putin's bloody invasion and protects its peoples and sovereignty, $14.1 billion in security assistance for Israel, $2.44 billion to support operations of the U.S. Central Command and address combat expenditures related to conflict in the Red Sea, $10 billion in humanitarian assistance to provide food, water, shelter, medical care, and other essential services to civilians in Gaza and the West Bank and Ukraine and others, $4.83 billion to support key regional partners in the Indo-Pacific and deter aggression by the Chinese government, $2.3 billion to continue support for Ukrainians displaced by Putin's war of aggression, other refugees fleeing persecution. So you keep hearing the word Ukraine over and over. The bipartisan border policy changes negotiated by Chris Murphy, Kirsten Sinema, and James Langford. That's just informational. $20.23 billion to address existing operational needs to expand capabilities at our nation's borders, resource the new border policies included in the package, and help stop flow of fentanyl and other narcotics. So it's interesting because $14.7 billion, I think, actually goes to the border. The others about the others kind of separately the narcotics part. The Fentanyl Education and Narcotics Deterrence Off Fentanyl Act, I guess they tagged that on there. They stitched that on there. And then $400 million for the Nonprofit Security Grant Program to help nonprofits and places of worship make security enhancements. What? What? Oh, my goodness. Mia Farrow decided to put David Frum's sorry ass up here. What's David Frum got to say about this?
Was the 100th day of a Republican blockade on the aid package, Israel, Ukraine, plus $14 billion to enforce the border. That came after the month of September, when Republicans refused to include aid to Ukraine, House Republicans, aid to Ukraine in the package to keep the government open. There's a blockade going on, and it's obviously not motivated by the things Republicans say.
What is it motivated by, David?
On the border has yielded to Republican demands in a way that is just unprecedented.
Really? How is it unprecedented, David?
He has accepted a series of measures to harden the border without asking in return for...
No. Because the Senate rejected H.R. 2. So claiming that Biden, allowed it is just bullshit. Did he push the Democrats in the Senate to accept what the Republicans wanted on that bill? No, he didn't.
The things Democrats usually want: pathway to citizenship for young people brought to this country illegally at an early age.
Why? Why do we have to do that? Why? Now, I suppose the ones who are young and have been living here for years, whatever, as long as they're being productive citizens. But even then, should we be doing that? I don't know. That's not the law.
An increase in green cards. He hasn't asked for any of those things.
He hasn't asked for those.
I will give you what you say you want on the border if you give me what the country and the world needs on Ukraine. And they have said no. The answer is no to every question.
And so that's what Mia Farrow's complaining about. For 100 days, House Republicans have blocked aid to Ukraine and Israel. David Frum message: Speaker Johnson does what Trump wants, and Trump does what Putin wants. Oh, Trump does what Putin wants. Yeah, that's exactly it. You can't. Oh my God, it's so stupid. And then finally, Thomas Massey: the $118 billion Schumer Biden Langford deal is horrible. What priorities would lead someone to vote for the biggest foreign aid package ever in exchange for a promise that Biden won't let more than 5,000 illegals per day over the 1.5 million per year? And someone had posted somewhere, I think it was in the, there it is right here. So Mike Howell, I think was he a Congress critter too? I don't even know. Yeah, he's a member of the House. Or no, he's a member of Heritage Foundation. Where is it? Oh no, it's not there. That's not someone, Kirsten Sinema, it won't really let in 5,000 per day. Yeah, let's check your math here. Right here. Here it is. Because she said on Face the Nation, no, it doesn't allow for 5,000 a day. It means they'll stop the flow at 4,000 per day, which is no better. That's still like 1.5 million a year, which would be a record for any other of the last 3 presidents. And there it is. What Cinnamon Langford swore wasn't in the bill. It guarantees that up to 1.8 million illegal aliens can come over our border before it's an emergency. Right here. Mandatory activation. The Secretary shall activate the Border Security Emergency National Authority during months of 7 consecutive calendar days. During a period of 7 consecutive calendar days, if there's an average of 5,000 or more aliens who are encountered each day, average over 7 days, so that's 35,000 in a week, average, or any one calendar day, a combined total of 8,500 or more aliens are encountered. It's right there in the bill. Doesn't say anything about activating it at 4,000. It says right there 5,000. She insists that it wasn't that. All right, I have several other articles open about this. What's this? Once more with fake news. They insist Trump wants any Republican to reject the immigration bill, but they conveniently omit that it's linked to funding wars in Ukraine and Israel, not prioritizing America. Pay attention to the details when they are neglecting. So they got a little thing in CBS News there too. So anyway, I have several articles about this open. I obviously I'm not getting to them. By the way, there's a surge in syphilis in the Southwest, in the places where these border crossings are coming. Not that is, we don't need to worry about that. Although I was reading an article about how syphilis is making a big comeback in the United States. I wonder why. Let's see. Also, this one, Border Crisis by Design. You can read. That's a great article. I'm not going to get to it. And then, apparently there was a rally in Texas. The Take Our Borders Back convoy did reach the border. Hundreds of concerned Americans from around the country met on the Texas border as part of a Take Our Border Back convoy to rally support of securing the United States southern border. The rallygoers met at a private ranch in Quemado, Texas, a small town just north of Eagle Pass, a major hotspot for illegal border crossings that the Texas National Guard and Department of Public Safety took over from federal border patrol authorities. The Take Our Border Back convoy arrived at the ranch on Friday night with a long line of semi-trucks and passenger cars filing into the property for over an hour. The rally kicked off with performance by Christian music as the convoy settled in the ranch, and many others spending the night there, blah, 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 blah. So they've had a rally and, whatever. I like the fact that people showed up, but it's not going to do anything, and it's not change any senators' votes. But the senators and crowd critters who are considering this bill probably should watch their P's and Q's, because they think the American people know that this is just some election year posturing. All right. By the way, New York's booming underground migrant economy exposes the true disaster of Biden's open border. Immigration policy that admit vast numbers of low-skilled workers are a plague on Americans in low-skilled jobs, warned the late, great Barbara Jordan, a Texas congresswoman who chaired President Bill Clinton's Immigration Commission back in the 1990s. Open borders make a welfare state unworkable, warned America's leading socialist, Senator Bernie Sanders, before he started towing the new Democratic Party line in 2016. So apparently, we know what's happening in New York. They're spending all their monies on services for the people who are not here in the country legally, and it's putting a strain on their budgets. And in fact, here, Washington State used $340 million of federal coronavirus money for illegal immigrants. See, it just dips it out. Recent report by Washington State used federal coronavirus money to give $1,000 checks to illegal aliens during the pandemic. Fox News reported Sunday. The outlet on Saturday cited the Economic Policy Innovation Center's report about money that was supposed to help state and local governments responding to and recovering from the pandemic. But apparently they were also giving thousands of dollars out to illegal immigrants. Let's see. Oh, by the way, the guys who beat up the cops in New York City, well, they fled to California. Apparently some church groups have found some way to get them money to flee, so they won't be probably facing trial in New York. Let's see. I'm going to skip a couple of these. Oh, here, New York City launches a $53 million program to give illegals prepaid credit cards. Beautiful. Here's one to make your weekend taste bad. New York City is launching a $53 million plan to give illegals prepaid credit cards. According to New York Post, the multi-million-dollar taxpayer-backed project will be similar to the city's program offering food assistance to low-income residents, and will start with 500 illegal alien families currently staying at the Roosevelt Hotel. The amount handed out per family will depend on their size, but a family of 4 could get as much as $1,000 a month. The Post reports the cards will be refilled every 28 days. Now remember, they're already getting their housing at the Roosevelt for free already. So now they're going to have $1,000 spending cash. Perfect. And they get food. They get fed there too, by the way. Recipients have to sign a letter promising. Oh, no. I'm going to try to. Okay, hang on. Recipients have to sign a letter promising to only use the funds at supermarkets and grocery stores to buy food and baby supplies or risk getting kicked out of the program. How are they going to track that again? Oh, because the prepaid cards, if they have charges, like they say they buy they buy themselves a little MP3 player or whatever, that will show up, and then maybe they won't refill their cards. But I bet they could have a sob story saying, well, we were having trouble sleeping and we wanted to have them listen to nice soft music so we could go to sleep. And so we needed that for our well-being. And then say, oh, okay, you need it for your well-being. Well, there you go. If all goes well, angry New Yorkers don't burn the city don't burn down the city council building or something. The program will be rolled out to include every migrant, of which there are currently tens of thousands in New York City. So what could go wrong? Really? What? Oh, yeah. T2. Hello, T2. I'll be back. That's what you said. What could go wrong? Let's see. I think that might be the last one. Oh, Christian nonprofits incentivize illegal immigration with your tax dollars. Well, a lot of the non-governmental organizations are down there in Mexico coaching these people on how to get your asylum claim. And then, it was some Christian group that took the guys who beat up the cops in New York City and found a way to get them to California. President and CEO of Samaritan's Purse, Reverend Franklin Graham, told Newsmax in May that despite his organization's prominent presence in Latin America, we are not aiding illegal immigration. We're feeding people down there. We're not helping people across the border. While programs offering food and financial resources to the caravans snaking through the Central America seem humane on the surface, they actually incentivize more migrants to pay the cartel smuggling fees so they can make the trip north. Well-intentioned Christian charities are using American taxpayer money to assist migrants on their journey through Central America, undoubtedly fueling the surge of human trafficking across the border from South America into Mexico and the U.S. So you can find out how by reading the article. Oh, and then apparently there's some sewer system or whatever in Texas that some illegal aliens are using that to make their trip across the border. Illegal immigration is a nasty, dangerous business. The trip, no matter what the intentions, in most cases, is long and arduous. Anyway, so apparently some drainage system, they found like a total of 70 some migrants in a drainage system, like a sewer system. Nasty. Here it is. There are 2 separate systems. A sanitary system that carries human waste utilizes PVC piping. The manholes that access the sanitary system can obtain a higher concentration of dangerous gases. And the reason they are able to move through that system is that since the storm drainage system handles larger quantities of runoff, the RCP pipes, boxes, and culverts are much larger. The agents located 27 migrants before CSET discovered another illegal entry point. Their investigation in that area uncovered an additional 43 migrants within the storm drainage system. So they are innovative. Let's just say that, okay? All right. I have a bunch of other articles up. I did put this Senate elections thing up here twice, so I'll get rid of that one. But not related to the not related. There's several articles not related to migration, but that's all I have time for today. So, guys, I have to thank you for putting up with me doing this 3 days in a row, but this is insane. And again, this whole bill here, it's going to be election posturing for the next, well, at least a week or so. They're going to try and pass this in the Senate very quickly, supposedly by this week. And because Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, is going to bring it up. And it's probably going nowhere in the House. It probably won't even be brought up. And then they'll be blame Republicans. Dude, Republicans don't want to fix the border. Well, they did give you H.R. 2 a little while ago. So go figure it out, fuckers. And call me when you got something real on the books. All right, that's it. I got to go. Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live, everyone in the chat. Very lively chat today. I appreciate it. You all have a fantastic Monday. I'll be back tomorrow on my regular schedule. That's all I got to say. Hit the like button, share the stream, sponsor the show at pdognight.live or Venmo or Cash App or whatever way you do it. All that information is in the description. I got to go. Thank you. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.